Yeah.
She said, no, we're out. She said, yeah.
He was in the marching band.
You were in the marching band? Oh, what's your name?
Larry Lance, the trombone player.
Wow!
Sat up the back there.
How cool is that? Yeah, this is our man last year. We always sing it.
This is kind of the color guard flags group right now. And that room, see if it looks like the same tail. Look at it now.
Yes, I was in choir and chorus. And
Yeah, he doesn't really choir. I thought he was in band, but he was in choir.
oh, yes.
Familiar?
Absolutely.
Not to me. I was a musician in fun.
Miss Aldrich, what is the oldest sign that you have here?
I'm sorry?
The oldest one of your little signs
The
here.
oldest one is that one.
And when is
It's not a
that?
mattress. That was in, 2005.
Oh, okay.
Spring 2005.
All right.
I came in, my first year here was the 03-04 academic year. And the musical that year was The Wizard of Oz. We didn't have to go to winter. So this is my 13th year.
And a great year it is. Unless you're a Knights Templar, the 13th doesn't mean anything to you.
No.
But that will mean something. Okay. I don't want to leave anybody behind. And if you had a chance to play, the other room was Beeson's room. Yeah, upstairs. We had to give it up because of the stairway. Yeah, there was no access. And you remember the only way to Miss Beeson's room was a stairway outside or a stairway inside.
Yes.
That was the only way. So we had to give it up because they didn't want to go into the elevator process. Then it takes away the stairs because the elevator would have been so large. You know, a scooter kind of a thing. You saw one on the wall over here. But when it opens up, it would have taken that whole thing. So they said no. So they didn't do it. But it's still there. We go in there now and then. She uses it for some of her students to practice their dancing and things like that. We use it for the robotics club, a couple others. So, but we're limited. We're actually not supposed to allow anyone because just in case someone's ADA, needs some accommodations. So, but we use it. I was just up there. There was storage up there. The people didn't realize you would walk up the stairs to our classroom, but you walk by a storage room, and that's where we store our old annuals. So I was just up there a little bit ago to check on yours, see if we had any. And we would have had some 80s and 89s. No, the older ones don't seem to be there. I'm surprised. They're not organized. They go back to 08 and 09, but some are here and some are over there, and then, wait a minute. Yeah, so it's searching for them. So can you recognize this room as the choir room? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. I've always wondered, see this opening? Was this door that long? Maybe
Yes.
at one time?
Was it a what?
Yes.
So large, because it looks like it was...
Yeah, it's probably double.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's now a wide one for wheelchair access. But
Yes.
That's why, because it's a 5-foot door, which is half of that is only 2'6".
Right.
Handicap requires a 3-0.
Right.
yep.
And what about the handicap access down the...
Down there.
They just go bump, 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 bump.
That's the thrill ride.
That's any ticket.
He's the architect, so he can tell you all of that.
Yeah. Well, we had done this way. We use this way.
Stephen, why don't you take us to the
We pull
library?
somebody down on their skateboard and use, gee,
So you might recall...
Bye-bye.
I think we might have been back. Yes, because he was injured at a...
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
So this is this floor of the library. Yeah, there is the basement. A lot of people don't realize that there is such a thing, but the basement, of course, is below us. So you might recognize part of the building. That part of it we've had to dedicate to our storage. So it's actually a book center, media center, those kind of things where you can check out devices. When you were here, did you go into that, or was it just
I recall.
Do you? I don't remember.
One of the things that you might recall, they used to put all the valedictorians' pictures up on the wall.
Yes, that's right.
But because of modernization, they came down and they didn't go back up. They're still here. They're still here. They just didn't get them up.
In storage.
Right. And of course, some of these documents were new when I was a kid. The surrender of the Japanese is up there. A couple other little things. Wasn't it decoupage? I think they called that.
Yes.
When you encase,
Yes.
and that's what you have up here.
Wow.
Does the name Mr. Gracer mean?
School store. I worked in the school store.
We did that?
And that was
Well, you may not have been.
Yeah, the
time to do
student
that, but
store.
I should
Let's go
remember
ahead
the-
and head
Yeah.
around and we'll
Not
get
like
into the
that.
back door of the gym.
Okay.
So one of the things I was commenting to you is some certain particular lines here that are a little odd. Now we did take the high dive down because one day it was very windy and the little kid was trying to jump off the high dive. Almost flew off the building.
Oh, yeah.
So we took the high dive down.
That's the problem.
Right there, Stephen, would you point to that line?
Yep.
And how it goes up and in the window.
Oh, yeah.
This is where we entered the tunnel. We came through this building
Oh, okay.
and came here. So the other one that I mentioned to you was the lean-to.
Yes, which I just saw.
That's the driver's ed over here.
Uh-huh.
They have them here, but they don't use the classroom.
It's only boarded because some kids go But I've walked by it forever until one day I said, "What is this?"
I'm gonna go buy a water.
So at that time I was able to get inside. But I'm going to take you around and we'll go in the back. I'm going to go back and look at my hand. It's 12-inch walls.
Yes.
Just as the auditorium. Same thing. It's one of the cute things when we look back in history and see, you know, certain things, certain design factors. Remember in Arlington Cemetery is Robert E. Lee's home? I never knew until they mentioned it. The house is oriented so that the wind would blow down the center way to keep the house cold. And I would have never had thought about orientation. But if you remember, but you might remember the showers and things like this. Girls can't come in because it's the boys' side.
It's the boys' side.
Give me my camera.
Oh, okay.
We had the boys' gym over on the other side.
Yes.
So we could
Yeah.
see the tunnel.
So there's this area we can almost see the door that I was talking about, the magic door that took us to the tunnels.
It's open.
I know it's open. Oh, do you have your flashlight?
No, well, I got one on
I
here.
got one on my phone.
I'll take you to another part. Let's go ahead and go over here. How long can you guys stay in the US? About 20 minutes after school's out? Yeah. Okay. Well, there was.
My brother played basketball in here.
Well, I heard
Now they have a dance room here. Oh.
that's one of our purposes for it now. Wrestling goes on across the street. You recognize that?
Yes.
The stairway to the pool.
To the pool.
Didn't we have our prom in the gym?
I can't remember.
I think we did.
So one of the neat things about this building, I understand that you guys had an extension of seats here.
Yes.
That you could come out to this. Now, one of the things that we noticed, I'm chuckling, I'll tell you that story in a moment, but one of the things was we finally made it to CIF. Haven't been there in years. So we're in the playoffs, and they said, you know, for old time's sakes, let's have the game in here. So we're ready to go. They measured the court.
Not big
Changed the
enough.
sizes.
Legal size.
Oh, no.
It's 10 feet short.
Oh, geez.
And it was funny because this was not referred to ever as the girls' gym in my time. It was always the McIntosh.
Yeah.
But the girls would say, I get to that center line and I do 3 more steps and shoot. Well, when they went to that side, which was another 5 feet here, they were like, why am I always short? Well, they weren't practicing. So they stayed here, but we weren't able to do the CIF.
Oh, because it's
Now, a lot of people tease me about the swimming pool and really don't think that there's one. But you know, when you have leaks, insulation tends to come down.
Is there really? I didn't want to
There's evidence of it.
Okay.
So we have the American Medical Response Unit, which is the ambulance company, AMR. They come in here in May, and they teach the students how to do compressions only. Instead of CPR, remember how you so many breaths and what have you, you just do compressions. And so I come in here usually 5:30 to get this thing set up. So the room is completely dark. And I test the music. They do it to the song, what song? That's correct.
Staying Alive, that's
The
a good
Bee Gees
song.
song. And that's the rhythm. And so I turn it on, and I come in here, and the room is dark. But as I walk across, as we are now, the lights come on. So I know there's nobody here, so I do a little dance as I go. Because it's like the light just catches you as you go. If we head that way, those lights will come on. I hope they will.
Yep.
And then you go up behind you, that's kind of scary. Now I've got that song stuck in my head. Staying alive, staying alive.
Depending on your time, you can see this way was one of the entrances to the other locker room, but also to the tunnels. And the tunnel entrance is down in here, underneath the foyer. So I don't know about your time, but it's also dirty. You know, I go in there, I usually come out. And so one of the things that we have here, and you might remember the archery that you might have done when you were here.
Yes.
A lot of that equipment is stored down below. And the students ask me why. And I explained that stuff is all stockpiled in case of an Indian attack. And they said, well, how can that be? We haven't seen any Indians. Self-explanatory. We've got the arrows in case they come. So we're set on that. See the Indians in case the Indians come. Bows and arrows. We go by the swimming pool.
Our best principal didn't
explain it to her, right?
Yeah, let me bring it down.
I wish we had you as the best principal.
Okay, let me take you to the auditorium real quick. We'll go to the cafeteria and we can in. While this is all happening, the kids will be evacuating. Because it's time for them to go home.
And I noticed they leave promptly.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Can't get to class, but they can leave on time.
That sounds familiar,
These barriers
actually.
over here, you might recall. Look out the window, you saw those things, because I see them in pictures from the 30s. That iron grate or iron door, whatever you want to call it. I offered,
Oh, yeah.
when I was the metal shop teacher, I offered to take them down and straighten them out so that they will come back and match, and they told me they're too heavy for us to do. They were going to take care of it. Well, that was 1994.
Never been done.
Yeah. Did you have an ag program when you were here?
Yes.
And it was right there. It was right over there. Because in the metal shop, sometimes the back door would be open. 3 cows came into my metal shop once. And if you recall the machine shop, well, you guys were here, a lot of electrical in the floor. And I thought, if one of those urinates, he could get a surprise of his life, and I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to push the cows out of the office, or out of the classroom and back into the field. And son of a gun, in 7 years, I was teaching agriculture at another high school. So, like, I didn't know my calling was there. Yeah, my calling was there. So let me take you to the auditorium.